मेरे ही नंबर पे मुझे ऑर्डर आ रहे हैं, मैं ही सप्लायर के पास जा रहा हूँ, बुक उठा रहा हूँ, and I was like कि you have to execute fast delivery. So we were a part of at a time I think about 20-30 college groups, and people never realized कि we were कि हम students नहीं है. So that's why I say COVID was a blessing in disguise, because a lot of things fell in place for me. Compliance is the worst thing that you can do.
So any founder who's starting out has to make sure that they have their salaries.
Not while you're bootstrapping, because खुद का पैसा एक जेब से दूसरी जेब में डाल के क्या ही करोगे?
Tax कमा रहे.
I have answered customer care calls at 11 in the night,
Right.
and turned that customer into an investor.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got Anurav Dave with us on Zer0toZidd1. Anurav, we know for a matter of fact, after all the research that we've done, your mother's a lawyer, your father's a lawyer, your grandfather's a judge. You've done your law. How was it growing up with folks of this stature in the same household?
So, in fact, if I talk about early age,
Yes.
when I was in school, so because my granddad was a judge, we get a government house and everything.
Okay.
We were staying in a joint family, and it's not just my parents, even my uncle's a lawyer. My Bua, she wasn't staying with us, but she's also like a public prosecutor, and even my cousin's a lawyer. So it's a lot bigger family than what you can imagine.
So what was the discipline like at home when you were growing up?
So because we were in a joint family, of course, we were slightly more disciplined than what normal kid would be.
Okay.
But then after my granddad retired, then we all separated out. But even then, of course, by then I was almost I was passing out 10th grade. And my dad has always been that kind, almost all parents की 10th कर लो, 12th कर लो, law कर लो.
3 years वाला ऐसा है कि हमारा बच्चा लॉयर ही बनेगा.
Not really, but he was not ever pressing on it. But he would obviously like it. Unsaid आप बोल सकते हो. And it was like, I have 2 kids, so एक बेटा criminal lawyer बनेगा, एक civil. So that was kind of subtly put into
all avenues covered in short.
So like now the firm bana lenge. So that was like kind of subtly there, but he was never really too pushy on that. And my mom has always been very chill.
Okay.
So she has been very, very supportive since the beginning. And so when you pass out, like I scored well in 10th. So
what was your percentage in 10th?
I scored 92.6. Yeah. So got into HR. So then for that 1 year, 11th grade, your family is chill because कि हाँ भाई अब भी 10th दिया है, अच्छा college भी मिल गया, तो you can't say much. But after that 12th grade kicks in, and then again it starts building in as in when the months are passing by कि भाई अभी HSC है, you have to.
And you were also preparing for CLAT then, right?
Right, that's true. So but वही है कि because in 10th grade I would say kind of burnt out कि यार इतना पढ़ लिया, अब नहीं पढ़ना है.
मैं burnt out का definition नहीं पता था हमको. अभी ज़्यादा common हो गया.
Yeah, and I was more like कि I'm an early riser since the beginning. So I used to wake up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock and start studying.
Oh damn, okay.
So I was like and I hated math.
Okay.
So 11th grade में, even though I got into HR College of Commerce, I first said कि भाई I want to drop math, and I took SP because you get option. तो मैंने तो SP ले लिया, and I was like कि school time में मुझे इतना मजा करने नहीं मिला, but 11th grade में full मजा करता.
क्या किया मजा ऐसा किया गया?
And so luckily I had a very good circle. And so मजे में, if I tell you, like 11th grade, so I was a part of this Rotrack club.
Oh dude, same. I was a part of Rotrack club of NM.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
ranked number 1.
So there we do an international trip.
Right.
So and on the international trip, almost all of our friends we went to Russia.
Okay.
So that was one. Then like Lonavala, Goa तो होते रहता है. That's fine.
वो तो international services का avenue था.
Yeah, but then नहीं, like just friends.
Okay.
But then even as when we moved on to degree college, even though I went on to do my law, but we were still in touch, like great strong circles. Then we went to Spain, Amsterdam, Ibiza, like we had like
College life was fun.
Yeah. So right until COVID, you can say हम बस मजे ही कर रहे थे.
So bro, tell me one thing. When you were in college, you decided that अभी law करना है, CLAT दे दिया, you cleared.
CLAT तो didn't work out. So I was so done with studying ना कि मुझे नहीं करना था. और as family, you know, like CET was very very new that time.
Right.
So any which is parents did not know much or did not care much, but they were like, 12th grade so you have to do well.
How much did you score in your 12th?
12th I scored 91.
You scored 92 and then you got 91 without studying. So you are...
Last 2 महीने मैंने बहुत किया.
Same bro. So for me, it was very simple that I got 90% in my 10th. After that, I went to NM, chilling in life, good life. I was doing festivals till Feb end. Of course, March से तुम्हारा board start हो जाता है. I studied for 14 days. I got like 85-86%. My family was happy. हाँ भाई ये कुछ तो करके आया लड़का.
My dad did not expect me to score, but after I scored, even he was shocked कि भाई
ये कहाँ से
आया. Yeah, because he was like कि पहले 10 जितना तो पढ़ाई नहीं.
So you are closer to your mother or your father?
Mother.
Usually boys are closer to their mothers also.
Yeah.
But tell me one thing. Usually boys usually have a very different relationship with their father. It's a completely different equation. What is your equation with your father?
So of course, you know, the calls with father are always the shortest. And even when you're talking, you know, we usually don't talk about life or anything in general. Our topics are very very concentrated towards, say, you know, events like, be it politics, be it real estate, be it business, how things are working, market predictions, be it gold, very little of stock market, but yeah. So anything and everything that revolves around, say, money
and life in general is with your mother.
Yeah. So very like serious conversations and all of those, your views, etc. are with that.
So you ran a company called andbooks also when you were in your law college.
Yeah.
So when you were in law school, did you think that आगे चल के मेरे को practice करना है कि ये startup का कीड़ा starting से ही था?
So starting से ही था.
Okay.
So you know, like this business acumen or willingness to do business was at such young age कि school time में जब opportunity मिलता था वो fun fair में stall लगाना था ना, वहाँ पे मैं लगाता था.
Oh, so you were trying to make money off everything.
Yeah, जब मौका मिलेगा I was ready to do.
पैसा बनाना है.
Yeah. So and I knew कि, say, if I follow that path of, you know, after 12th grade, if I stick to HR and I do that 3 years course of, say, BFM, MAF, BCom, whatever.
Right.
Duration is limited and college से placement होता है and you get a job. And then you're stuck in that cycle. So I was like, कि वो तो मुझे नहीं करना है. So I thought कि, you know, law, even though I hated it, but the wonderful fact that it was 5 years.
So you get
time. So for 5 years I'm a student. So family cannot really say much.
Right.
And I was like कि चलो worst case कि अगर कुछ नहीं भी हुआ. So I took up law 5-year course because I wanted to do something of my own.
Right.
And I was like कि अगर कुछ नहीं भी हुआ तो backup है law, because you know I can finish law even though we don't have a firm, but you know at least my dad can help me get into a law firm or whatever, and you know I can start my journey however. I was like कि backup अच्छा है. So I was like चलो ठीक है, let's do law.
Right.
And luckily, you know, stars were aligned and COVID hit. So with all due respect, for a lot of people COVID was not really that great, but for me I see it as a blessing in disguise.
Right.
So for me it really worked out because first I got andbooks.
What was andbooks about, Anurav?
So again in COVID, so again andbooks is also a COVID baby.
Okay.
It started in the late 2020 November, I think, if I'm not wrong, or 2020 or 2021, roughly around that timeline.
Okay.
And I was like, because you know after the first lockdown, March में जो lockdown start हुआ था, I think it opened somewhere around September,
October-ish, yes, 2020.
And exams तो करने थे, तो exams announce हो गए, but online exams announce हुए. अब exams
your online exams कैसे होते थे?
Yeah, I'm a lawyer who's passed out from online exams. So exams तो announce कर दी, but लोगों के books नहीं थे.
Right.
And I was a part of law school. I was like, books तो है नहीं. I was searching myself कि मैं books कहाँ से लाऊं.
Right.
And luckily, because next to my house there's GLC, there's a lot of law colleges. There were, I found one stationery जो law books भी बेच रहा था. So I got my books from him. But then similarly I saw in the college को बहुत लोग पूछ रहे हैं यार, because people went back home. So they had similar query and I was like कि, you know, I can help you out. maybe ये same बंदे से लेके I can courier it to you or whatever. And then I was like कि ये प्रॉब्लम सिर्फ मेरे क्लास में नहीं, ये हर लॉ कॉलेज में है.
Right.
I was like यहाँ दिख रहा है अपॉर्चुनिटी. तो मैंने बोला कि I again this idea of sitting at home watching YouTube idea आ गया कि करते हैं. And then I called up my co-founder Nikhil.
Okay. Who's also co-founder at LUZO.
In LUZO. So okay. Again we've been close friends again since college, and we all both of us, he's a Sindhi. So Sindhi family में तो धंधा होता है.
गुजराती.
Yeah.
ओ गुजराती एंड सिंधी से ज्यादा डेडली कॉम्बिनेशन कुछ नहीं है. धंधा ही धंधा होगा.
सब इन्वेस्टर भी एक. So he said yeah चलो करते हैं, because he also wanted to do something.
So what was Nikhil doing then?
So he was pursuing BFM.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was in BFM I think second year or third year.
Okay.
So I think BFM third year, and then he did 1 year of MCom and college. Not college placement, but yeah, he got placed into Edelweiss, and then from Edelweiss he got a switch to Deloitte as a senior consultant.
Okay, so long journey.
But that entire duration that you can say, we were very lucky कि it was a work from home environment. Work from home में now that he's out of Lead, I can say कि work from home में ज़्यादा work होता नहीं.
उसके साइड में तुम बहुत सारी चीजें कर सकते हो.
Exactly, which is that's how andbooks was born, that's how LUZO was born.
Right.
And I called him up, and before I called him up, I did my own research कि
right.
मेरे पास customers ready है, supplier ready है, website भी मैंने Google कर लिया. So that time there was this website called Khata Book. So it still exists today, the company. It does. But back then they had an online store, like Indian version of Shopify.
Okay.
So मैंने Khata Book भी research कर लिया था, and I was like, bro, we can launch like literally next day. तो we got together, supplier के पास गए, बात किया कि बोला भाई अगर ऑर्डर आएंगे तू कर पाएगा ना. लाइक हाँ, मार्जिन डिस्कस कर लिया कि बोला भाई तूने मुझे तो डिस्काउंट नहीं दिया, now that we'll get you bulk, तू कुछ दे दे हमको. said ठीक है 5% I'll give you. said ठीक है चलो done. So then day one, now we didn't know how, this was like a first proper business that we were starting out. We had no idea how it's going to work out. Previous night हमने website ready कर लिया, सप्लायर को बोल के रख दिया सब रेडी है. रात को हर जगह ब्रॉडकास्ट कर दिया. सो जितने भी फ्रेंड्स हैं जो दूसरे लॉ कॉलेजेस में थे, हमारे क्लास के ग्रुप में सब डाल दिया, यू जस्ट प्लेस योर ऑर्डर ऑन दिस वेबसाइट, घर पे बुक्स डिलीवर हो जाएगी. एंड फर्स्ट डे ओनली आई थिंक वी गॉट लाइक 10-15 ऑर्डर्स.
ओह क्रेजी. ओके.
एंड व्हेन यू आर स्टार्टिंग आउट जुनून बहुत रहता है, एंड ट्रैवलिंग का बहुत इशू था इन कोविड टाइम. सो एंड ये स्टेशनरी मेरे घर के बाजू में था. सो मेरे ही नंबर पे मुझे ऑर्डर आ रहे हैं, मैं ही सप्लायर के पास जा रहा हूँ, बुक उठा रहा हूँ, एंड आई वाज लाइक कि यू हैव टू एग्जीक्यूट फास्ट डिलीवरी. सो मैं ही जा रहा हूँ सप्लायर के पास, बुक्स लेके आ रहा हूँ, लॉजिस्टिक्स का. सो एक्चुअली प्रायर टू दिस वी हैड डन दिस ड्रॉप शिपिंग बिजनेस ऑफ ज्वेलरी.
ओके.
So but that barely lasted for a month or so, but at least वो Shopify and Shiprocket ये यूज करना हम तब सीख गए. तो we were like कि Shiprocket यूज कर सकते हैं, but Shiprocket में क्या है ना, they have like if you place an order after 11 वो next day पिकअप नहीं आता है. I was like नहीं, मुझे तो आज ही भेजना है. तो मैं इंडियन पोस्ट के पास गया. Now Indian Post has their own rules कि आप ऐसे पैकेज करो, ऐसे टेप लगाना चाहिए, ऐसा ये होना चाहिए, ये वो. I was kind of frustrated. So I remember that still day that it was so rigorous. From the morning I woke up, we had orders till 7 PM.
Right.
कि अभी पोस्ट वाला भी ऑर्डर नहीं लेगा और दुकानदार भी चले गया है. I did not eat a single thing. So I literally fasted, and I still remember that day. खाली पानी पे चल रहा था मैं. But मजा बहुत आया. Like yeah, this is
exactly the standard world I want.
Yeah. तो मजा बहुत आया, and we like now कुछ इम्प्रोवाइज करना पड़ेगा. बिकॉज अभी मैं ही कस्टमर केयर हूँ, मैं ही वेबसाइट मैनेज कर रहा हूँ, मैं ही सप्लायर्स भी ला रहा हूँ, मैं ही पैकेजिंग भी कर रहा हूँ. So like bro, we need to do something. तो but ये like for the first week तो ये चलते गया. But then we were thinking what all ways to do. So थोड़ा टाइम then we like कि अभी ऑर्डर आ रहे तो थोड़ा बुक्स हमने लेके उसके घर पे रख दिया, शिप रॉकेट सेटअप कर लिया, and then ऑर्डर आते तो थोड़े वो शिप करता था, थोड़े मैं शिप करता था. So kind of tried to optimize. And then उसके बाद now because घर पे तो कुछ तो बोलना पड़ेगा भाई काम. So then I started my internship also, law internship.
Okay.
Because ये books कितना ही.
So 1 minute, you were studying for your exams while you were supplying books at the same time.
Study I wouldn't say much because क्या online exam था.
तो हो ही जाता है।
एंड ऑन एकदम बहुत अच्छे से ऑनेस्टली मैंने
दिया है। मैंने इसे I did my MBA, I also gave it very honestly without calling my friends, without having them on WhatsApp. I gave it very honestly. Shout out to my MBA folks, guys. Thank you so much.
So online exam था तो even with less studying you could clear it. And for the longest time it was MCQ. So it was any which way easy. And books हम ही supply कर रहे थे. So we knew कि MCQ के लिए कौन सी book चाहिए, क्या नहीं पढ़ना है, क्या पढ़ना है. We kind of knew because while we were doing business we were also trying to carve out कि यार हम कुछ ऐसा निकाले कि you know रैपिड रीडर नोट्स होते हैं, एंड मूवमेंट नोट्स होते हैं. वी वर ट्राइंग टू डू कि एडिशनल बिजनेस कहां से जनरेट करें. तो वो भी हम कभी-कभी बनाते थे तो थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ाई हो जाती. चैट जीपीटी था नहीं. तो वी वर एबल टू कार्व आउट एंड थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ाई भी हो जाती थी उसमें. सो वी स्टार्टेड दिस फर्स्ट एंड देन आई वाज लाइक कि यार आई नोटिस्ड वन थिंग कि ये जब भी सप्लायर को बोलूं ना बुक्स चाहिए, बिकॉज़ वो ऐसे ही ज्यादा स्टॉक नहीं करता था. बट फॉर अस मैं उसको अगर बोलूं कि यार बुक्स चाहिए सुबह बोलूं तो वो दोपहर तक लेके आता था.
जुगाड़ गया.
सो आई वाज लाइक कि यार अगर ये इतने फास्ट बुक्स लाता है ना मतलब इसका सप्लायर बहुत फास्ट. सो आई वाज लाइक इसको ढूंढते हैं बिकॉज़ ये 5% में हम कुछ बना नहीं रहते. अभी पर ऑर्डर 10-20 रुपए बनाए क्या करेंगे,
और इतना ज्यादा मेहनत से पानी पी के क्या फायदा.
एग्जैक्टली. सो देन थोड़ा गूगल पे गया, थोड़ा ढूंढा बुक सप्लायर, थोड़े बहुत फोन लगाए, थोड़े विजिट्स किए. लाइक इसका जो सप्लायर है वो पक्का 2-4 किलोमीटर की विसिनिटी नहीं होगा. एंड हमको मिल गया. So we went to him. फिर उसको बोला आप कितना दो, वो बोला मैं 10%. चलो मार्जिन डबल हो गया. अब कुछ इम्प्रूवमेंट तो है. लाइक इसका भी कोई सप्लायर का तब बाद में उसके पास जाएंगे बिकॉज मेन सप्लायर से इतना स्टॉक लेंगे कैसे. तो फिर उससे लेना स्टार्ट किया. एंड एट दैट टाइम हम लोग काफी टाइम क्या है क्लोज बाय ऑर्डर तो मैं खुद भी डिलीवर करता था एक्टिवा पे. एंड अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स देन ज्यादा ऑर्डर होते थे तो वी शुड डू वी फास्ट. अब वी फास्ट पे एक बंदा मिला हमको जो अच्छा लग रहा था. तो मैंने उसको पूछा कि भाई तू हमारा फुल टाइम काम करेगा क्या. तो इसे हाँ करेंगे. ऐसे जितना वी फास्ट देता है ना मैं उससे सिर्फ 10 रुपए कम दूंगा, बट ऐसे भी तेरा कमीशन में तो कटता होगा. तो इसे हाँ आई विल हैप्पीली डू इट. एंड वी गॉट हिम कि भाई तू बस रेडी रहना. एंड देन वी यूज्ड टू कलेक्ट ऑर्डर्स एंड देन वी वर लाइक कि भाई स्पीड इज इंपॉर्टेंट बट इट इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट कि आज ऑर्डर आया तो आज के आज ही देना है, थोड़ा सैनिटी भी चाहिए. सो वी गॉट दिस डिलीवरी गाय एंड वी वर लाइक हम अगर हम मंडे एंड ट्यूसडे के ऑर्डर्स कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं तो अगर आउट स्टेशन है तो वी शुड शिप इट सेम डे. बट अगर इन द सिटी ऑर्डर है तो हम लोग वेडनेसडे को उसको बुलाते थे और बोलते थे सारे डिलीवर कर. सो विद इन 48 आवर्स रफली ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ऑर्डर्स यूज्ड टू गेट डिलीवर्ड. एंड देन वी फास्ट पे यू हैव एन ऑप्शन टू ऑप्टिमाइज योर रूट. तो वो इट वाज वेरी हेल्पफुल फॉर अस. तो हम लोग सारे एड्रेसेस डालते थे, 10 एड्रेस उसको ऑप्टिमाइज करते थे. एंड दिस डिलीवरी गाय आल्सो सो स्मार्ट. एक्टिवा पे डिलीवरी करता था तो थोड़े डिक्की में थोड़े पैर के पास कार्टन में हम लोग उसको मस्त पैकेजिंग करके देते थे. एंड वो कान में ईयरफोन डालता था एंड गूगल मैप का वॉइस फीचर यूज करता था. तो कहां से लेफ्ट कहां से राइट ही वाज एबल टू एग्जीक्यूट वेरी फास्ट.
He was chilling in life. He was living it for us.
Yeah, तो he was like कि मैं वी फास्ट ऑर्डर क्यों करूं, मेरे को तुम्हारे इतने ऑर्डर है. पूरा दिन उसी में निकल रहा था एंड he was making more.
Right.
तो he was happy with us. Then slowly फिर वो जो सप्लायर मिला उसके बाद then I found कि इससे बड़ा सप्लायर कहाँ मिलेगा.
And you were scaling at what number at this point जब अब सोचा कि next सप्लायर के बाद.
So in total हमने जो revenue generate किया ना, so we did this business for roughly about 1.5 years.
Right.
And हमने total revenue कर लिया था about 20 to 25 lakhs.
That's decent, or 10%. That's almost 2.5 lakhs.
बस हम लोग तभी हमारा सिर्फ खर्चा निकाले थे. As soon as COVID hit, बाहर तो जाना नहीं था तो पैसे की जरूरत थी नहीं. And when COVID started opening, हम जब खर्चा आने लगे we decided कि हमको घर से पैसा लेना ही नहीं.
घर पे बैठे अगर ये निकाल सकते तो why not?
हाँ, so our goal was कि बस खर्चा निकालना है. एंड ये निकल रहा था. लेटर ऑन वी वर थिंकिंग इसको स्केल अप कैसे करेंगे. बट तब खर्चा निकल रहा था एंड वी वर थिंकिंग ये सप्लायर इसके ऊपर कोई होगा. तो वी वांटेड टू सी हाउ मार्जिन्स, हाउ बिग द
सप्लाई चेन as much as we can.
So we switched 4 suppliers.
Okay.
So we were able to reach a point where we reached 25%.
A lot.
Yeah. And then we found various ways to optimize it. One of them being कि हम लोग because orders फिर काफी आने लग गए थे. So we used to tell the delivery boy कि भाई तू तेरे घर से आता है, यहाँ से बुक्स लेके आता है, फिर वापस डिलीवर करता है. हमने स्टॉक डिलीवरी वाले के घर पे रखना चालू. बोला तेरे को हम ऑनलाइन ही कम्युनिकेट करेंगे. तेरे को मैप भेजेंगे, मैप भी नहीं भेजेंगे, हम तेरे को एड्रेसेस भेजेंगे. तू ही ऑप्टिमाइज कर, तू ही पैक कर और तू ही डिलीवर कर. सो वी रीच्ड दैट स्टेज.
ओके.
वेयरइन हम सिर्फ बुक्स सप्लायर से लेके आते थे एंड उसमें भी कभी कभी उसके रूट में आ जाए ना तो वही बुक्स लेके भी आता था.
Basically became your offside.
He became our everything. तो and then we started paying him थोड़ा better also. We gave him a phone also, मतलब थोड़ा उसका life better करने के लिए.
Right.
So you were trying to optimize it as much as possible. Right. But then, you know, while we were doing this, the idea of LUZO came in.
But also things were opening up by then, right?
Yeah.
So did that also not hit your business by a little at least?
Not really, because you know our proposition became so good. Because see, we started off with one semester, but next semester what we realized was सबको new books नहीं चाहिए,
used books भी
इसको second hand भी चाहिए. Yeah.
Okay.
So जो नया बैच आया उनको हमने second hand, इन लोगों को जब नया सेमेस्टर के बुक्स देने गए, इनको बोला पुराना बुक्स रिटर्न करो. एंड ये बुक्स में so we would you buy these books at 10 or 20% of the cost,
right,
and sell them for 50 to 60% of the cost. So इसमें we used to make a lot more money comparatively. So हमने ये चालू कर दिया कि तुम, and retention इसमें very very strong. घर बैठे बैठे बुक्स आ रही है, एग्जाम खत्म होने के बाद ये जा रही है, नहीं भी आ रही है, और डिस्काउंट ज्यादा मिल रहा है बिकॉज इसके अगेंस्ट वैल्यू मिल रहा है. बिकॉज अर्लियर क्या है, बुक्स घर पे पड़ी रहती थी.
Once the book is in the process, is going to keep churning itself out.
Exactly. 6 सेमेस्टर थे, लोगों ने हमसे 6 के 6 सेमेस्टर खरीदे. एंड व्हाट वी यूज्ड टू डू ना कि वर्ड ऑफ माउथ इसमें वर्क्स रियली वेल. एंड जब भी हमको कोई, सो वी हैड अ सेट नंबर ऑफ कॉलेजेस, पर जैसे हमको कोई नए कॉलेज का ऑर्डर करना, बिकॉज हमने फील्ड में लिखा था कि राइट अ कॉलेज नेम, राइट. तो जैसे हमको दिखता था कोई नए कॉलेज से आया ना, वी यूज्ड टू कॉल हिम कि ब्रो तेरा सेट फ्री है, but you add us to your college group. And then we used to join the college group as college students, and we used to say, hi guys, I found this website where you can order your books. And
that's a Gujarati and Sindhi at work, dude. वैसे ले ले.
तो उसका सेट फ्री कर दिया हमने. So we were a part of, at a time I think about 20-30 college groups, and people never realized कि we were कि हम students नहीं है, but
because everyone's at home, they don't know.
Exactly, उसको कुछ पता ही नहीं है. तो हम लोग कॉलेज ग्रुप में एज गुड स्टूडेंट्स, यू नो, हाय गाइस, यू नो, बिकॉज काफी बार क्या होता है ना, पीपल कुड वर लेजी टू ऑर्डर ऑन द वेबसाइट. तो हमने कहा कि यू नो व्हाट, इफ वी ऑर्डर इन अ ग्रुप टुगेदर इन बल्क, यू कैन गेट अ बिगर डिस्काउंट. तो हम वी यूज्ड टू क्रिएट अ लिस्ट कि add your name to the list and get your order delivered, that they'll call you. पहला नाम मेरा, दूसरा नाम मेरे पार्टनर का, तीसरा चौथा रैंडम नाम. people were feeling कि अरे लिस्ट बन रही है, तो फटाफट लोग ऐड करते जाते हैं. जैसे 30-40 लोग की लिस्ट बनती थी, we used to get a bulk order. तो we know कि बड़ा ऑर्डर आ रहा है, and then we used to deal with them आराम से, because क्या है, खाली लिस्ट नाम में ऐड किया है, so he doesn't know order कब आ रहा है. So we had a lot of time also to deliver. हम आराम से.
Man, Red Bull should know how to build a community right now. इतना कॉलेज में उन्होंने भी पेनिट्रेट नहीं किया होगा.
तो एंडबुक्स बिल्ड करने में हमको बहुत मजा आया, because we learned shipping, we learned about returns, which was actually one of the biggest problems in the longer time. And the biggest problem why we decided to close down, why we thought it could not scale, is because जब हमने चालू किया ना, तब लॉजिस्टिक्स बहुत सस्ता था. एवरीबॉडी वाज कंपीटिंग ऑन प्राइस. लोग 30, 40, 50 रुपए में भी डिलीवरी दे रहे थे. आफ्टर अ ईयर और सो एवरीबॉडी इंक्रीज देयर प्राइस बाय 30-40%, एंड देन व्हेन योर डिलीवरी फीस इंक्रीजेस, इट बिकम्स अ प्रॉब्लम. सो अल्टीमेटली देयर मार्जिन्स became a lot thinner.
Right.
So we were like कि यार इसको और स्केल करने के लिए कुछ दूसरा सोचना पड़ेगा. बट तब तक LUZO was born.
Honestly, COVID was not really nice for a lot of folks, and
yeah.
But I think for folks like us, who Gen Zs, who just trying to build out something, that was a good trial period for us to carve our entire career from here. I think today you are wherever you are with LUZO, I am here with Grath. It's only because of how COVID went for all of us, and we've experimented a lot. But was it also not a little heartbreaking for you to put and hit pause on a company that you've scaled for a year and a half?
Of course. In fact, there was a point in time where, you know, we used to discuss कि will investors be okay, because we needed funding for LUZO.
So andbooks के time पे, when you were shutting down andbooks.
Yeah, so there was a point when both were active.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
So, you know, because we had to focus, like LUZO really came off as a very big idea, and we were like, you know, this can be a lot bigger than andbooks.
Right.
But we didn't want to shut andbooks, you know, because it's kind of the first baby. Yeah. But andbooks, we could clearly see that it's struggling. It's facing, you know, because we could not dedicate enough time as earlier, and we had to prioritize one thing. So there was a point in time, you know, where we used to think, yeah, will investors be okay, because we needed funding in the longer run. Will investors be okay if we are a part of 2 companies? And we used to read and all, but we realized कि यार वो नहीं होने वाला है, कोई भी पैसा नहीं डालेगा, and हम भी genuinely scale up नहीं कर पाएंगे. Startup is something, you know, you have to kind of be like Arjun. एक ही निशाना देखना है, उसी पे लगाना है. I tried to do it as for long as possible, but then we had to take a strong call कि नहीं यार, we'll have to shut it down.
How did LUZO's idea come up, Anurav?
So what happened was, so we had 3 co-founders,
Right.
and one of them, Man, he comes from the beauty and wellness industry. So his mother owns the very first franchisee of BBlunt, which is now owned by Mamaearth. And she's been a part of the industry for almost more than 20 years now.
Okay.
And January 2020, she was starting out with her own brand. But due to COVID, you can imagine, March 2020 made shutdown. Now, all 3 of us, being close friends, now March 2020 mein shut ho gaya for the next 1 year. It was a very tough time for him and his family. So there were certain incidents that he shared with us, and then when I was walking with my mom, I shared that with her. Their new brand shut down, this, that. That's when my mom said कि यार ये industry में कुछ online क्यों नहीं, कोई app क्यों नहीं है?
Right.
And because every single, now that you actually look at it, every single fixed cost heavy business, consumer business, be it your dining with restaurants, be it your entertainment, be it theaters, plays, whatever, be it your travel, be it your airlines, etc., right, hotels. Every fixed cost heavy business, it's like agar plane उड़ गया, दिन चला गया, your business is gone.
Right.
So you need to generate customer footfall, and that is the biggest pain point for any consumer business. So we were like, we've found a gold mine करते हैं, but we were like कि we are not Einstein कि हमने कुछ invent कर लिया. 100% लोगों ने पहले try किया होगा.
Right.
Because I have never come across an idea where somebody has not done that before.
Right.
So we started researching, and we found out कि why there were people who came in and why they shut down.
Okay.
So there were several reasons. So when people were trying, it was probably too early, like pre-COVID, because there was one player which is a very huge player now, and they started off in 2016. Now 2016 mobile apps were not that popular.
Right.
Mobile data was not that cheap. Jio was just coming in. The infrastructure was not ready. People were not ready to spend on their beauty and wellness as much.
Right.
India back then and now 10 years mein, India has evolved big time. So a lot of things didn't play in their favor, and that's why they probably pivoted. And then player who came on later on had a different model. Even though they had things in place, their model was very different. ये industry में क्या है? It's a service industry. Undercutting बहुत होता है.
Right.
So we were like कि हमको model भी change करना पड़ेगा. हम ये commission model पे नहीं चल सकते. So whilst we had taken the bet कि करना तो है.
Right.
We had hired app developers जो app बना रहे थे. We were going to salons to onboard, and हम salons के पास जाके इतना बोल रहे थे आप app पे list हो जाओ. So we did not have a financial model when we were actually building.
Okay.
Financial model actually came in almost 8 months, 9 months later after we
when you shut down andbooks.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, kind of almost at the same time. And that is how we were able to think of a model, which was also a coincidence कि it was just एक रात में उसको कुछ idea आया. My partner called me कि यार ऐसा कुछ कर सकते हैं, and we were like कि चलो we found a financial model. Right. Until back then we used to pitch to our partners कि you just get listed onto the app and हम customer भेजेंगे. That's it. कैसे भेजेंगे, क्या करेंगे, कुछ पता नहीं था.
No commission, nothing decided.
Nothing at all. So because we want to make onboarding easier.
Right.
So we were able to onboard a couple of partners, but then
how many partners did you all have without that financial model by then?
So तब तक थे 40-50 थे.
Okay.
But the problem is that if you promise someone something in say September and your app is not ready until January, they're going to forget you.
Right.
So actually जब app live हुआ and we put the financial model into place, we had only about 7-8 जिनके साथ हम actually काम कर सकते थे, and we started seeing some revenue.
Okay.
But we were like कि अभी start हुआ है. Then we spread the word, थोड़ा word of mouth, WhatsApp broadcast, this, that. Very little social media वगैरह start किया. थोड़ा traction बढ़ने लगा. That is when we realized कि यार अब तो scale करना पड़ेगा.
Right.
And that time actually, January 2022 up until Jan, Feb, March, April 2022, I was actually interning also.
Okay.
And that was with another place. So andbooks shut down, so I had no money.
Right.
Which is when Jan 2022 I had to intern, because भाई अब घर से तो मुझे पैसे नहीं लेने थे. लॉ इंटर्नशिप में कोई पैसा देता नहीं है.
4-5 हजार मिलता ना एट मैक्स.
आई वाज वर्किंग फॉर फ्री. या सो आई लाइक कि पैसे तो चाहिए, मैं पैसे लाऊं कहां से.
Right.
यहाँ डालने भी है और मेरा खर्चा नहीं निकल रहा है, कैसे करूं. सो माय मॉम हैड फंडेड मी to put in the first seed into LUZO, but
हाँ.
मैं daily का खर्चा कहाँ से निकालूं?
हाँ.
I was like कि भाई guys, and my other partner is working at Deloitte, तो उसका तो अच्छा सा salary था, but I was like मुझे भी कुछ करना पड़ेगा.
हाँ.
So I joined this company called Console, UK based startup but team in India.
हाँ.
And I worked there for 4 months, and there also मतलब I was learning a lot.
Okay, what were you doing there?
So it was like an export network aggregator.
Okay.
I would say I actually learned a lot of my sales skills while I was working there. So the founder was really good. He taught me how to take calls, how to talk, and sales pitch कैसे करना है. All of those things I learned within those time, and I was really able to perform also very well.
Right.
मैं छोड़ तो दूंगा ये internship. मैं LUZO में full time काम भी करूँगा to grow it faster.
Right.
तो पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे?
Right.
That is when we decide कि scale भी करना है, खुद के लिए पैसे भी चाहिए, funding उठानी है. So while I was sitting with Consort, even they were looking out for funding. So I learned a little bit about fundraising also. So in my last month, I had filled the form to 100x VC. Right. They had just opened their cohort. And after I quit, we got there. So first round I cleared myself without even telling my co-founders. And by the time we quit, we had the second round of clearance
Discussions.
Yeah. So then second round mein all three of us were there, and it was going well. So within that 1 month, I remember it was roughly about June July के आसपास का time. Yeah. So we had that fourth round of discussion, which was in person with all the entire investment committee. Long discussion, about 6-7 hours तक discussion चला, and by the end they were like, we are not 100% convinced, but we are almost there. So they gave us a few checkpoints. You hit these 1, 2, 3 checkpoints, and we'll fund you.
Okay.
So we were like, chalo, theek hai. So at least we stepped out of the meeting thinking ki at least door is not closed.
Right.
So we went back, we hit those checkpoints, and by September they said, okay, chalo, we'll write you a check.
I am a solo founder. Okay? I have my own advantages or disadvantages. What I think is that when you have multiple founders on board, there is a lot of conflict of interest. और हर किसी को
Absolutely.
हाँ है ना, there are a lot of conflict of interest और हर किसी को लगता है कि यार ये अगर मैंने कर लिया तो I could have done this better than the other dude who's handling it, right?
Absolutely.
How do you manage that on a day-on-day basis?
So what are investors, 100x VC. So they operate almost like YC in the US.
Right.
Wherein, they not just put in the first check, they also try to educate you. So they have these master classes where, they call, previous established founders and other learned people to teach you. I remember one of the master class was all about founder conflicts.
Right.
So they said about 40% of the startups actually shut down just because of founder conflict.
Egos are too big.
Yeah. And so they had given us a heads up about that, and we used to face that a lot because all three of us we've been friends, so we talk unfiltered,
right?
And sometimes things go out of hand, and we're shouting at top of our voices. All of those things, they happen,
right?
But being close friends also plays to our advantage. आज बहुत गुस्सा आ गया, but at night you sit with a couple of beers and you're okay.
One thing that I strongly think of here is when you're really good friends, you have a very big personal equation which is on stake, of course. So when you're talking to each other as friends, they tend to know कि हाँ ये बकचोद है, ठीक है? That is of course there as friends. And when you're dealing in a professional environment, you're supposed to take each other that seriously also. क्या बोल रहा है? That also becomes a major issue. That shift to come in.
So to be honest, for us, luckily, we have been, I think, able to do that quite well. Like if they see me in office, I'm a very different person. When I'm outside office, they're very different people.
Right.
So, outside office, we'll do all kinds of bullshit. But in office, we maintain the decorum because we also have a larger team looking at us.
Right.
And, we have to get shit done. So I think we have been able to maintain that balance quite well.
And all of you are on the same page. So you ran andbooks with Nikhil.
Yes.
Right. And then you had one more co-founder join in.
Correct.
How did that shift happen to have
so
fun?
Again, even the third co-founder Man, he was our close friend only.
Right.
And actually it was his problem which he shared with us, which made my mom say an opportunity.
Right.
So, and we knew that if we wanted to break into the industry, like Nikhil and I, both of us, we were like guys who would go to a neighborhood salon, 100-200 रुपए में haircut करा लिया, तो हमको industry में कुछ नहीं पता था.
Exactly.
We wanted some kind of guidance as well.
Right.
So speaking to his mother itself was a huge help, and she would connect us to a lot more people in the industry as well.
So that you could onboard them, have a
Exactly.
discussion, understand.
So it played out really well having, so because all three co-founders actually come from very different backgrounds.
Okay.
One is from the industry, one is like a Sindhi, like with a strong finance background, and
you have compliances. You know everything you can have compliances.
Everything else you can say, मतलब be it legal, because company establishment वगैरह भी मैं देख रहा था. Then in terms of slightly product side also, so जो भी बाकी सब बच गया ना, जो बाकी दो नहीं कर सकते थे, वो I was taking care of.
So you can honestly look after compliance completely well because you've seen it.
I can, but I don't want to.
Why?
Compliance is the worst thing that you can do.
I have one more question that I want to ask you, Anurav. You're like 3 male founders who are building in the health and wellness space, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think that it's important that you have like strong women also present?
Absolutely, and I absolutely agree with that.
Right.
Which is why, in fact, in the beginning, even our office ratio was like 90% male.
Okay.
So we did realize that, dude, it is not good,
right.
Because we are about 65% of our customers are actually female.
Exactly.
So we need a female perspective, we need that. And then we started increasing more female employees in the office.
Okay.
So we hired people from the salon industry, be it salon managers, because, we realized, so there was a point for the longest period, my personal number was the customer care number. And I have dealt with customers from Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Delhi NCR, like till Delhi NCR expansion, my phone number was there. And people from all geographies, it is a task. Which is why we hired people from the industry and females, because like a salon manager, a female has a lot of experience in dealing with bad customers.
Right.
Because they've been through it.
Right.
And females are a lot more comfortable speaking to them.
Right.
So our entire, you can say, customer care team or operations team, we just hired females.
Okay.
So now the ratio is kind of balanced. There would be customers who will take the entire service and say, you know what, I don't like it, I will not pay.
How would you deal with it?
And because you're in the service industry, you have to be very, very polite.
And patient.
Exactly. Like, ma'am, I can understand you might not like your hair color or the haircut that's been done. But we as an app, we've never seen you, we've never met you, we've not even done your haircut.
Right.
We are just another app where you're making a payment.
Right.
Why are you...
And you're getting heavy discounts also.
Yeah. So we help you book an appointment at the place you want it.
Right.
We gave you the discount that you would have gotten nowhere else.
Right.
And still you're refusing to pay. Can you please be, really kind and just do it. Pathetic customers, you'll find on say out of 10, 9 days you'll find, but one day you'll find wonderful customers who'll call up to say, the app is so good.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, that'll happen on 1 out of 10 days, but I think it is those customers that keep you going ki haan chalo kar sakte.
I will tell you something, Anurav. So in our case also, we do a lot of influencer campaigns. You work with customers directly. When you're doing good shit, nobody's going to come and tell you that, dude, what you've produced or what you've done is really nice.
Yeah.
And if there is 1 inch of an issue, people are going to come and hold your neck, dude. Because बुरा होते हुए कोई नहीं देख सकता. अच्छा किसी को बताना नहीं है.
हाँ, like 100 अच्छी चीज करो is okay. एक गलती करो problem
so
hai.
You then pivoted from getting calls to then moving it to your customers.
Yeah, then we set up the entire team. So after we raised our pre-seed funding, we were actually in a position. So till we got the funding, it was just 3 of us and the outsourced tech developers. After we got the first check, we
September 2022.
So September, I'd say, we closed the term sheet. Then there are again compliances. By the time the money came in, it was almost November, December
2022, you got your PC.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
at what valuation, if you're comfortable sharing that?
So, that I can disclose because, 100x VC has a very standard format, just like YC.
Right.
They'll give you 1.25 crores.
Okay.
For 15% stake.
Okay.
So, that roughly adds up to about $1 million in valuation. So, that's the standard format. Sab companies ko wahi milta hai. So, that was... And because it's an early stage, very early stage pre-seed check, they value on your gut feeling. So it's a standard for all the companies. We established a team. We started hiring.
Who was your first hire and why?
The tech people.
Okay.
That was one of the investors' first checkpoint. You get tech in-house क्योंकि तुमको तो tech आता ही नहीं, तुम क्या app बनाओगे? So they said कि पहले तुम tech को in-house लेके आओ.
Right.
So we convinced these guys to join us for a low pay because he said कि तुम आ जाओ फिर funding आएगी तो फिर salary बढ़ जाएगी.
वही lollipop candy trap है यार हमारे लिए honestly.
You have to, yeah. So, but they are also like Brushank, who's our current CTO. So he was that developer. Right. And along with him, there were two more people. One had left, but even he joined us very recently as a full-timer. So he made a comeback.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So he's heading our entire backend, Rohan.
Tell me one thing, Anurav. Most founders say that once you get funding or if you got some sort of money flowing into the company, founders still do not take out a salary for them, right?
Yeah.
Did you and your founders decide that we're going to take out at least something as salary so that we can have survival
So
money?
The moment we got our first check, we did start up drawing up salary because what? So one thing is you're in that Josh Junoon, I will not take up salary. But what another way of looking at it is, when you're going for your say next round or when you're doing your financials, salary आज नहीं तो कल आने वाली है.
Account तो करना ही पड़ेगा.
So you're actually fooling yourself because तुम कहीं और काम करे तो salary तो तुमको मिलती.
Right.
So it's not like you're working for free. So भले ही कम I think salary draw करनी चाहिए.
So any founder who's starting out has to make sure that they have their salaries
not while you're bootstrapping because तुम खुद का पैसा एक जेब से दूसरी जेब में डाल के क्या ही करोगे?
उसे टैक्स घुमा रहे हो और कुछ नहीं कर रहे.
Yeah, but after you get funding, you should definitely draw a salary. Be it minimal, you can scale it on later on, but you should draw something.
Should account for it.
Yes.
And when do you think for all the aspiring folks who are building their own companies from scratch, what would be the right space for them to take funding? When is the right point कि हाँ आज मुझे funding की जरूरत है?
I think first step is कि you have clarity on your idea कि क्या करना है. So you get that co-founder firstly. Then you start putting the idea into practice.
Right.
Because idea in your head and idea in real life will be different. You'll realize a lot more things as you move forward.
You can't drive a parked car for sure.
Yeah. So once you get the piece moving and you realize ki, okay, this is what I want to do. This is something that can scale. So because when you're talking about funding now, VCs will first ask you something ki, is this business venture scalable? So there are two differences. One is a scalable business ki मतलब आज आप कोई दुकान डाल लो कपड़ों की, वो आज 10 लाख कर रहा है, एक साल बाद शायद 15 लाख करेगा, 25 लाख करेगा. But when you're talking about a venture fundable business, it needs to grow like 2x, 3x, 4x, 10x year on year.
Right.
And if you think that is possible, that is when you can approach for funding. Because if that is not the case, if you're planning कि नहीं मुझे कोई घाई नहीं है, मैं आराम से करूँगा, I will do the right things, then don't go for funding because VCs will not let you rest.
They want to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, and because they are also answerable to someone, right? VCs get their money higher up from HNIs, UHNIs, and private equities, etc.
Right.
They have to answer to them. So there is a payback period. And unless you get it for them, they are not going to get it above. Only if you're confident of all of these things, that is when you go in for funding. And it's not like you knock on the first door and they'll be like, "Ye raha paisa."
ले ला पैसा, आप जाओ अपना धंधा चला लो.
So if you're planning to take funding in say December, you probably start in June.
6 months at least.
Because you'll start pitching. It takes time to set up meetings. It takes time to talk, understand, reevaluate your pitch, make some changes, finally convince someone, do the compliance, and then get money in the bank.
In your case, you were still lucky that you hit an arrow on your first go with 100x, right?
So 100x was one arrow. So we shot multiple arrows.
Right.
I wrote multiple emails to a lot of VCs. So I was still researching I was understanding VCs.
Right.
Until then मुझे VCs क्या था पता ही नहीं था. So I was researching what VCs are, how does the funding work, what are the things that they look at, metrics, pitch deck बनाना, all of those things. So
Canva का premium subscription.
हाँ वो भी हमने funding के बाद लिया. तब तक हम free में चला रहे थे. So multiple things that you need to figure out before you go for funding. And with 100x, because we reached out to them first time in say May, June period.
Right.
And in September, October, we actually got finalized, after that period of hitting those checkpoints. But till then, it was not a guarantee कि, हम checkpoint hit भी कर जाएंगे और वो पैसा उसके बाद डाल भी देंगे. Because there was a timeline hit. So we were still reaching out to multiple people, but no success over there. But we got a lot of feedback at the same time. So that was really helpful.
But when you got your first funding, was there a sigh of relief for all three of you all, and your families also, most importantly, ki acha, we are in the right direction we are building?
Absolutely. So I remember outside 100x office is RCT Mall. जैसे ही निकले, like finally, and I remember it was रात के कुछ 9:30-10 बज गए. Because again, we had gone at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I remember. But again 5-6 घंटे का rigorous Q&A चला. Finally they agreed. They said, okay, here's the term sheet. I have to sign it right now. कोई lawyer को phone कुछ नहीं करने का. मतलब because
मैं ही lawyer, मैं ही founder.
It's a fixed thing. There's nothing that's going to change anyway. So you sign it. हमने sign कर दिया.
Then you had your pictures movement, I think.
Yeah. So we went out, RCT Mall में गए, and we're like, अब beer पी.
तू beer है, तू beer है, मैं beer हूँ.
So we had our beer, must. We went home, and shared with my mom.
Right.
I did not disclose it to my dad till we had money in the bank.
Okay.
So the way I disclosed it to him, I showed him the bank statement. That's how I disclosed it to him. But still then I knew he would not believe. So, and that's when he was like, okay, कुछ तो
कर रहा है.
Yeah.
What I see is that when I look at my grandparents also, they know that ये लड़का कुछ तो करता है. So I run Grath out of my living room right now.
Right.
So of course everyone's restricted. Also, when it comes to our parents and grandparents, they don't actually understand what these folks are doing.
Of course.
So my grandparents know कि 20 लोग इसको रिपोर्ट करते हैं और ये चिल्लाता है, काम करवाता है, क्या करते हैं वो नहीं पता है. But when they look at the fact कि हाँ, there is something tangible or people are actually listening to him, ये कुछ तो कर रहा होगा.
Of course.
So in your case also that bank statement was that proof that okay.
Yeah.
This is
अच्छा, अभी मैं कुछ बोल नहीं सकता हूँ कि अगर किसी ने इसको 1,25,00,000 दिए, कुछ तो सोच के दिया होगा. कुछ तो सही.
और उनके टीम में कोई गुजराती और सिंधी पक्का होगा जिसने सोच के दिया होगा.
Yeah. So I think that funding really gave us that relief. Right. So 100x also has a demo day,
Okay.
So because just like YC, they put in the first check, they they give you education with the master classes as I mentioned, and then they have a demo day wherein they call hundreds of investors to listen to your pitch on the stage.
Okay.
And then those investors put in more money.
Okay.
And that was in January
of 2023.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did not have much time. We were like, धंधा scale कैसे करेंगे? तो पहला महीना funding के बाद तो बहुत slow था. That was roughly about say some of November, some of December. And then we were like, ये बहुत खराब हो रहा है because even though funding आती है, वो relief सिर्फ एक दिन की होती है कि हाँ. But उसके बाद उसको use करना है. And the right way. तो वो अलग ही pressure है. So we thought of ideas.
This is actually Zer0toZidd1, dude. That you started at nothing and you just got money. How are you planning to sustain?
अब पैसा तो आ गया, अब
करना क्या है?
Then we went back to the drawing board. We ran the economics and we're like, जो इतना हमारा CAC आ रहा है, अगर हम discount ही बढ़ा दे, तो CAC almost कम हो जाएगा या same आएगा. So we went back and we declared a flat 50% off on all our partners.
Okay.
And so this number I can still disclose. So October, our revenue was about 25,000 or under 50,000. December, we scaled to a revenue of 12.5 lakhs.
Okay.
एक महीने में. Because we went so viral, because we were onboard a brand called B-Bland, one of the very premium brands, and वो discount ऐसे भी नहीं देता, and we said flat 50% off, लेके जाओ, no cap, nothing, no TNCs, and customers went wild, and because December it's anywhere season time,
yeah.
Christmas, New Year,
शादी season, yeah,
exactly. Primarily. Customers went wild, and from 25 we 12.5 lakhs in just 1 month.
And then Jan, you had your pitch.
Yeah, so then. And that is why we were able to even raise more money on the pitch day because people were like, bro, क्या scale किया है?
क्या करके गया?
Yeah. So, and even though we were operating at like a heavy negative EBITDA margin that time, but we were like, कि चलो, at least we proved that we can scale and there is demand, and if we do something like this, we can rapidly grow.
Right.
So, जैसे ही funding आ गई, that is when we pulled back. 50%, then we made 50% of only for first time users. पहले unlimited था. Any transaction 50% ले जाओ.
Right.
So then we pulled it back. We made it just for the first time users. In economics थोड़े improve हुए. We realized कि भाई ये long term करेंगे ना तो डूब जाएंगे.
Right.
We are burning heavily. So then we were like कि चलो now we need to do something तो we introduced cashback. तो फिर first time customers introduce किया, after a long time then we introduced cashback कि थोड़ा discount होगा, थोड़ा cashback होगा.
Cashback on your LUZO app only.
On your LUZO app only. So that really helped us maintain retention.
Right.
Now फिर after a year we said अभी economics और improve करना है तो 50 को 40 कर लिया. And now that 40 still exists, but we know this is a sweet spot.
Right.
And you will not believe, ये हमने Instagram पे भी डाला था, our biggest customer bill till date is 1,39,000.
1,39,000. Okay.
Yes.
Which salon was this, if you can
So
disclose
it's a salon in Powai. It's called Salon Ministry.
Okay.
And the customer, I personally called him after he paid the amount that, sir, how was your service? Because इतना बड़ा bill, you really call your customer personally.
1,39,000 किया क्या?
So that's what I wanted to know. So I asked him. So he said, and he was an old man. He was like north of 60 or 70 maybe. And he said, no, my daughters had come back from the US. So me, my daughters, my wife, all of us, we went to the salon and we did all the services. Hair color, treatment, pedicures, manicures, spa, सब कर लिया. तो 4-5 लोगों ने मिलके सारे सर्विसेज करा लिए.
ये कभी यूज किया है?
This was, I think, probably somewhere in 2024, maybe 2023 or 2024.
1,39,000 is a lot of money to spend, यार.
And he was so happy. He's like, क्या discount मिला? Because उसका bill हो गया था, फिर उसके बाद 1,01,000. So almost like he saved a huge amount. So because our offers are like up to 40% off, and I'm so no matter how many times you go, and उसको cashback मिला.
Right.
Now cashback का validity we give 3 months. अब ये बंदे के पास almost 20% cashback था, which is 20,000.
20,000, right.
अब जब इतने सर्विसेज करा ली, अगले 3 महीने में क्या ही कराओगे, हेयर कट कराओगे, उसका कैशबैक यूज ही नहीं हो पा रहा था. So he called me कि यार I am that customer who built so much, अब मेरे पास इतना कैशबैक पड़ा है, बट यार वो एक्सपायर हो रहा है. लाइक डोंट वरी सर, मैं आपका एक्सटेंड कर दूंगा, आप खुश रहो. हाँ, आप आते रहो कि मुझे पता है आपका कैशबैक यूज होने के बाद भी आप और यूज करोगे. आप
कहाँ जाओगे, आप हमारे पास.
आप टेंशन मत लो, आपका एक्सटेंड कर दूंगा, मैं पर्सनली कर दूंगा.
Oh man, 1,39,000 is a lot of money.
We were shocked when we saw it. But अगर मैं पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस की बात करूँ तो I had a chance to visit this barber shop that is Truefit in Hill.
Okay.
And their service in terms of royal shave, I think for men customers, I think that is one of the best experiences.
Okay.
It's a 8-step, if I'm not wrong, process, but it's so good and so calming that एक झपकी तो हो ही जाएगी इसमें.
एक nice tiny little nap.
So you should definitely try, like, because it's expensive. I'm sure you probably cannot do it again and again. But एक बार try जरूर करना चाहिए.
I think with me, Anurav, I'd put out one instance which comes up with me, and I'd want to understand, does this resonate with you? As a leader, I think that I've got a decently sized team of say 17 odd folks right now. I think the type of work that I do on a day-on-day basis is going to decide the livelihood of a lot of people who are dependent on me, and I always tend to multiply it by 3. So I think that 17 into 3, 20 into 3, almost 60-70 lives are dependent on me. If I screw up today, I'm screwing up with 60 lives directly and another 300-400 lives indirectly also. Does this thought haunt you on any day?
So literally, very recently, I was discussing this with my friend. That, as founders, that worry that so many people are looking up to you, they believe in you, they believe in your idea,
exactly,
they're believing your promise that they're taken care of, and in the long run it's a very nice picture.
Exactly. And even you don't know what the picture is looking like, honestly.
Exactly. They're following you, and you are building your own path.
Exactly. You are clueless also. So does this not haunt you on days?
So that way, I think I feel I am mentally strong enough to calm myself, but that thought definitely creeps up. I'd say her ek tarikh.
Because of course, because you've got that much burn also happening, right?
Exactly.
And you're a Gen Z. Practically, you're also a Gen Z founder. I'm a Gen Z founder. Usually, when you interact with folks on the outside or also internally, people tend to take you a little lightly based on the fact that you're a Gen Z. They think, हाँ ये आज run कर रहा है, आगे चल के run करेगा नहीं करेगा. Multiple thoughts that people think of. Even your family tends to take you lightly. कि आज इसको ये भूत चढ़ा है, आज जुनून में कर रहा है, कर लेगा. how are you dealing with it when you're dealing outside?
So, when we're dealing with, say, family, it was not really that difficult, after you got our first check.
Yes.
In terms of business also, because I think now we are at a stage where, people know that we are serious, so we don't come across these questions. But yeah, when early on, when we started out, I think when we were onboarding, because, we started out when we were, 22,
Right.
21, 22, we were starting out. We were looking also like bachas, kids. So that's why I think it played to our advantage also. Because, people thought कि ये क्या scam करेगा मुझे?
हाँ, ये तो कोई बच्चा है.
ये तो बच्चा है.
हाँ.
तो जैसा हाँ ठीक है कर लेंगे. Details चाहिए हाँ ले लो. Start कर लो.
हाँ.
मतलब people could trust us very easy. See, for you, it'll be very easy for you to trust a child rather than a fully grown up adult.
True.
So I think somewhere it played to our advantage that we were able to onboard very fast. So,
and when you're hiring, now hiring for us, I think is a major issue.
For us also.
For all of us right now in this space, hiring is a major issue. When you're hiring millennials, it gets a little easier, of course, because you still see that focused side of them coming in where they're okay.
They're mature.
They're okay with putting in those long hours. They know the hustle culture. They're okay with it. They've seen it through also. Now folks are just getting out of college. They've seen a lot of influencer videos and they think कि I would honestly blame my industry also for this कि भाई 5 घंटा काम करने से तुम millionaire बन सकते हो is what they have in their mind.
Correct.
They don't have that vision कि भाई अगर कोई 5 घंटा आज काम करके पैसा इतना बना रहा है उसने उसके बाद उतना घिसवाया है.
Of course.
ठीक है. They don't have that thought in their brain on the back. Now when you're hiring folks, of course they have that very simple thing कि 3 दिन ऑफिस आएंगे, हाइब्रिड चाहिए, ये चाहिए, work life balance. I honestly understand the definition of work life balance like we do. That Monday to Saturday you work, Sunday you take that chill day. You just rejuvenate, you avoid burnout, you're back there. How are you dealing with folks when you're hiring? Because it's an issue for me for sure.
See, hiring is definitely, I'd say, one of our biggest challenges. Because, for an early stage company, when you're hiring, say, slightly grown up people, their salary expectations are higher. And the culture, I think that really makes a difference because, we are a startup, we are not an old traditional business.
Right.
So we kind of have changes probably every week or every month or every quarter.
Right.
पहले ये करे थे, but I don't think that's working out. Let's switch.
SOP नहीं है ना कुछ.
Yeah, so not for almost everything, but for some things, yeah, की strategy change करना पड़ेगा. It's not working out. I think for slightly grown up people, it becomes a little difficult to digest the fact कि अरे यार अभी तो ये कर रहे थे, अभी वापस ये तुम लोग का दिमाग बहुत जल्दी घूम जाता है.
हाँ, fickle minded हो.
Yeah,
I've heard this. तुम fickle minded हो, तुम किसी चीज में स्थिर नहीं हो और 2 महीने में चेंज कर.
ये क्या चेंज कर रहे हो? अभी तो ये just start किया. But we have to take quick calls because we are actually time bound.
Right.
पैसा खत्म, we are done.
So
yes. Yeah, so we need to take the right decision at the right time and move on faster if it fails. So I think for the older generation that is slightly tough, and the pay is on the higher side, but if you give them work, they'll do it well. However, with the younger generation, they will adapt, but they have their own nakhras also.
A lot of it.
So we have both sides, in our office, we have few people who are still in college and work very diligently. Like they will not take offs on a Friday and a Monday. So in our office, as a joke or whatever you may say, we say कि अगर जो Friday और Monday को बीमार पड़ रहा है ना, वो बीमार नहीं पड़, वो hangover है. So we have people, who actually dedicatedly come to office, don't take offs unnecessarily and actually put in their time. They don't go down for hour-long smoke breaks.
Anurav, tell me one thing. How do you set expectations with folks when you're hiring them? Bhai, ye culture hai. Do you do something in the interview or do you type out an SOP for folks ki bhai aisa hai, tabhi tum aao?
So we try and not to sugarcoat when we're hiring.
Right.
Because we're like, जो इंटरव्यू में ही डर गया ना,
वो चाहिए नहीं.
वो आगे आके तो he is not going to perform any which ways.
Right.
So we don't try to sugarcoat and we're like, if this person can stand, because we require like really strong people. Only if they can make it through that work environment, you will have to work diligently, dedicatedly. Even though our environment is quite chill, you can say go down for smoke breaks, you can,
right.
You have an office boy, I'll give you tea, coffee, nashta, you make whatever you want. You can walk around an office everything is there, but when it comes to work, you have to be really good at it.
Exactly.
So we put forth our expectations very clearly, and only people who can actually match up to it then end up working with it.
So now tell me one thing. This is something that I have also done. When we started off, of course, getting interns also was a very difficult task, right? Because people don't know of us. Right now, I think LUZO or in the influencer space, grad to a certain extent, folks know of and they willingly apply for jobs, right? I think I am also on the same line that I do not want to sugarcoat anything, put it out bluntly that dude, this is what it is. वहाँ से अगर better situation हो गया तो happy Diwali to you, Merry Christmas to you. But ये situation इससे worsen हो गया तो फिर अलग बात है, ठीक है? But what does it come down to for you that when they are in and they are not performing and it was not as expected, how does that entire piece look like? Do you give them PIPs? How does that hiring firing process go?
So we've done this mistake that we hired fast but we didn't fire fast enough.
Same. I think मेरा issue क्या बता अनुराग, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि यार मैं किसी को fire करूँगा मैं उसके पेट पे लात मार रहा हूँ. I have that very big soft corner in my head यार.
So which is why actually I'm sure it's a debatable point. But a lot of people will say that you should really connect with your team and understand them and treat them like a family. But I think I'm of a complete opposite view. When I say, and I clearly put it out there in the office, that we are not a family, we are a team. So if you can imagine our Indian cricket team, the playing 11, you perform, you're in, you shit, you're out.
Right.
It's the same thing we'll follow. Everybody is going through their own shit. So don't expect that we'll cut you some slack just because you're going through something.
Right.
Of course, there are extremes
exactly.
Wherein there's a health condition or family issue. That time we are trying to be as much considerate as possible.
Right.
But if it's like a basic problem, please don't expect, because everybody has that.
No so in that sweet spot.
Yeah, and I think I picked up this quote from I think Netflix founder quoted this, that we are a team and that's how it works. Yeah.
For sure. But tell me something, when you're firing, is it very straight up to the face that dude, you're not performing, you're out? So are you the one who's the bad guy here or there's someone else doing it for you?
I think I've been the bad guy on most occasions. Because Man, as my co-founder, he find it really difficult to do it. So he didn't do it for the longest time, but we pushed him that you have to do it. As a leader, you will have to face these times, so you do it. So he has also done it. But I think I've done it, I think the most number of times. And with me, I try to give that person a chance. Please, this is where you're lacking, this is where you need to work, this is what we expect out of you. You give them 1 chance, 2 chance, 3 chance. After that, you lose your patience and you're like, hey, dude, sorry, it's not working out. Thank you.
I think in my case, I have that psychology in my brain that I have 3 chances and 3 hits. Okay? I will sit down, I will explain it top to bottom thrice.
Exactly.
You increase your performance, ये solution है, ये problem है, ऐसे करो, वैसे करो, ये करो, सब करो. उसके बाद I think, Anurav, what happens is that I believe in building a high performance team. I call my team HPIs and MVPs, high performing individuals, most valuable players for me. Now what happens is that if there is one rotten apple in your team, that is going to spoil the entire team for you.
Absolutely, happens.
Okay? And second, of course, your office setup is also not going to be that big. You're going to see that face every day. Okay? In my case also, I see that face every day because I am operating out of a living room.
One of our co-founders, like Nikhil, he sits with the team. Most of our team. तो सब
दिखता है, ठीक है? तो अब एक इंसान को देख के अगर तुमको बार-बार गुस्सा आ रहा है as a founder, it is not good for your mental health. Get that dude off, because your team also knows कि यार ये इंसान काम नहीं कर रहा है और ये sustain कर रहा है, तो हम भी नहीं करेंगे तो हम भी sustain हो जाएंगे.
एक बंदा है जो फूकने के नाम पे 4 और को साथ में ले जाए.
हाँ, exactly. तो वो फूकने फुकाने के चक्कर में हमारी कंपनी फूक के चले जाएंगे ना. That is something that you can't afford.
Absolutely.
So I have created a very simple rule. 3 chances. I personally sit and give you other than the leads, whatever they're giving. अगर मेरे आँख में भी तुम cross 3 बार हो गया, then it is nothing. It is a straight mail from my desk that thank you so much. Yeah. FNF will be cleared.
So I think very recently, I discussed with our core team. I told them that we have to.
How big is your core team?
6 people.
Okay. Three co-founders and 3 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we decided that because we've had a lot of bad experience with hiring as well. We've hired people that have done the worst possible job.
Same.
So we're like, now let's come to a conclusion. And we're like, you hire someone, if they shit, you give them first warning, you give them entire feedback. they shit again, they're out.
2 chances max.
That's it. Like,
it's important.
Yeah, because as I said, we're fast moving. You cannot spend so much time developing a person
because it's not a school, it's a company.
Exactly. And a lot of people come to learn, but then I say you come in as interns. Interns to a certain extent are excused.
You can cut that.
But if you're playing an important role, you cannot expect that. You can expect feedback, you can expect a warning, but nothing beyond that is what I feel.
But till that time you're not taking off your KRAs. I'm not a school to keep educating you and make you.
Exactly.
I'm not your teacher or your father or your mother that I'm going to.
And you will find people who want to learn. So we have some people in office who will stay back after the working hours, and they will come and want to talk to us and understand. So even if they're just doing operations, they will want to understand business at a greater extent.
I love such people.
And that's when you identify कि okay, office में ये बंदा है, ये जो अच्छा है. And you, even if these guys make mistakes, you will still want to keep them. कि भाई ये ठीक है, गलती हो गई, सबसे होती है, but this guy is good or this girl is like really passionate about this. And I think that's where your core team is built out, and then the next level is built out, and these are the guys who will stay with you in the longer term.
Man, trust me on this when I say it. My core team are folks who are 23, 24 right now, so similar to my age, only because of the fact that even when they fuck up, I let go of a lot of things because I know that they're performing really well. I have one of my dudes who's been at Grad for almost a year and a half. A simple screw up, we had a proper LinkedIn debate happening. Someone went out, wrote a lot of anti-grad things on LinkedIn. I saw it. I got in the middle of it, got it sorted, but I've not even spoken a single word about it to the dude. Because I know that this dude is one of my HPI's MVPs and he could not face me honestly for a couple of days. Mayank ko main shakal kya dikhau? So I said that, dude, it is a part and parcel of the service industry.
Right.
Someone is going to go out there and badmouth even after you. If you're doing 500 videos well, or if you're serving 500 customers well, there's going to be the 501st person.
I don't think anybody can have 100% accuracy or 100% performance.
I think 95% is your best confidence rate. Is what I mean. 5% deviation is inevitable. अब वो तुम्हारा नसीब खराब होगा कि
and you'll always have customers and clients who will complain.
It is not possible because हमारा population ही इतना ज़्यादा कि कोई खुश नहीं रह सकता इतने easily.
And किसी को कितना भी दे दो ना, वो खुश नहीं रहेंगे. मतलब we have seen such pathetic. Like you can imagine, we are a consumer-facing business, right? And because we're an aggregator, we deal with both. We deal with salons, spas, and clinics on one side, and we're dealing with customers from all different geographies, all different age groups, all different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So we've dealt with so many different people, and we know that there are some people who will never be happy. So
and you can't do anything.
And you have to let go.
I mean, it's better to get your bad apples off and keep the entire piece sorted. How big of a believer are you of the work from home culture and the hybrid culture?
Work from home में work नहीं होता.
नहीं होता bro, नहीं होता.
And why do we believe this? Is because, as I mentioned it earlier, when we were doing andbooks,
the entire Deloitte piece and how he
exactly. So we have seen it,
right.
Which is why Nikhil, when he sits with the team, and when he's kind of our HR only, he knows who's working from home, who's not working from home. So we as founders, we do not believe कि work from होता है. Very few people जिनका काम track हो सकता है ना. It's like if it's a techie जिसका कोड कल डिप्लॉय करना है, वो पता चलेगा कि भाई उसने कल घर से काम किया तो आज डिप्लॉय हो गया. But others in operations etc, this that you cannot find out, and we are not people जो बोलेंगे अच्छा तेरा call logs दिखा या तेरा laptop दिखा.
किसका टाइम है?
Exactly. So we don't promote only work from home.
Same. I think it's always better because I think I'm a founder who would rather go up to the person and tell them that, dude, this is going wrong, get this fixed.
Exactly.
Then wait for the fact that, oh, now you're going to come on a Google Meet call. I wait for 5 minutes, you wait for 5 minutes, then that's it.
And I hate people in general जो बोलते हैं ना, देखते हैं, करते हैं,
concrete immediate action,
सोचते हैं, मैं email लिखता हूँ, मैं message करता हूँ, मैं पूछ. And like, dude, if the task can be done in less than 5 minutes, just do it on spot. फोन लगा, बात कर, पूछ, जवाब ले, खत्म कर. इतना सोचता क्या है?
कल करे सो, आज करे सो, अब
इतना ढीला काम करते हैं. Like, dude, come on.
This is not the way that you run an office.
Yeah, and that is where I lose my shit.
Yeah.
एक तो, and a lot of people, we have this very famous saying in office now, because I have quoted 100 times to our team, application of mind. A lot of people, they get so used to spoon feeding, कुछ भी वो पूछ लो बता देंगे. But after a point, you're hiring someone to get the job done,
Right.
not so that they come and ask you and you tell them कि ये करना
I
है.
think I have a very simple saying that I have hired humans, not donkeys.
Yeah.
Every time that a person is coming and asking me the same doubt, the same silly doubt every time. And now I've created a hierarchy for doubts also. It's very simple with me. तुमको ये doubt है इसके पास जो जब तक तुम्हारा फट नहीं रहा मेरे पास बताओ.
So what I tell my team is that, you know, see, you can ask me doubts, but before you plan to come to me, just do this in your head. कि मैं अगर उसके पास जाऊंगा और ये सवाल पूछूंगा तो वो क्या जवाब देगा. Just think कि क्या वो मुझे जवाब दे देगा अच्छे से, या क्या गाली देगा, या कुछ तरीका बताएगा, या what is going to happen. Apparently team says कि 9 out of 10 times they don't end up coming to me because they realize
गाली खाएगा.
गाली नहीं खाएगा, but they actually think of the answer that I would have given that would have made sense, and they already implement that. So what I tell them is, you don't come to me with questions, you come to me with answers. But this is my doubt and this is what I'm planning to do. Is that okay?
Exactly.
I'm like कि अगर तू ऐसे आ रहा है ना, I'm more than happy to entertain you. But if you come to me कि भाई मैं क्या करूँ,
तो नहीं चलेगा.
I'm like, bro, then you're doing something wrong.
Then you're not paid for it.
Exactly.
You are paid.
मैं ही कर लेता हूँ.
मैं ही कर लेता हूँ ना अगर तेरा. But tell me one thing, Anurav. We are young founders, ठीक है? I also think that we also lack in experience.
Of course.
And we are also trying to
which is why every month, quarter, we have changes coming in.
Exactly. We are all trying to figure out things that we're doing. You are bringing in a crazy change in the health and wellness space. I'm trying to bring in some sort of change in the creator economy right now. There are a lot of doubts with which folks come up with and they ask you. There are times when you also need that breather to think कि भाई थोड़ा दिमाग लगाने दे. I need to get
Of course.
Right. I think a lot of founders feel a sense of shame when they ask for that time कि भाई मुझे time लगेगा सोच के वो immediately जो उनके दिमाग में first thought आता है बता देते हैं.
Right.
So I think this is a major shift which founders also need to bring in, because obviously I need to inspire people.
Absolutely. So I think sometimes, I'm not saying it does not happen with me or my co-founders or whoever, but you know, I think somewhere it happens subconsciously.
Right.
You know that if your team is expecting an answer from you, you need to give it to them
Immediately.
Exactly. So sometimes you're put on the spot and subconsciously you end up giving that answer. But sometimes, yeah, we do try to tell them that, you know, if I have to dodge that one, I'll say, like, literally just happened with me yesterday. I said, पहली बार तो कुछ बहुत fantastic लाया है. Let me think about this. I mean, you've done a fantastic job after a long time. Yeah, very good question.
Very good question. We'll get back over the weekend. But on the business front, Abhi, Anurav, ठीक है, we are looking at a lot of aggregators who are coming in. I think all competition aside, a major competition for y'all is District right now. ठीक है, they launched this year and things are going really fast for y'all. How do you all manage? And of course, for folks out there, a major investor in LUZO right now is Dine Out. So my follow-up question is that, is there a chance of an absorption coming into the Swiggy ecosystem since Zomato is going on the vertical integration very strongly right now? What is going to happen?
So just to correct there, so you know, we have founders of Swiggy Dine Out on board,
yes,
and who are actually no longer a part of Swiggy.
Okay.
So they were there at Swiggy for the longest time, but now they've exited and they're doing their own startup in the healthcare space. So that is one. And then secondly, you know, of course, to be honest, you know, looking at District just reminds me of that one quote that I want to say. You know, your work so hard that your inspiration becomes your competitor. So I'm not even kidding, because when we were building out the app,
right,
we wanted to look at the most customer friendly, user friendly, and the most used app, you know. And we as young kids, Zomato, Swiggy से ज़्यादा क्या use करेंगे?
सही बात है.
So we've taken a lot of inspiration from them, you know, and because as a customer, I love using the Zomato app.
Right.
I love using the Swiggy app. You know, all these consumer apps we love using, and that's how majority of inspiration was drawn. And you know, somewhere or the other, you know, at the back of my mind, or after speaking to a lot of investors, this question always you know, came up in the room, that what if an established player you know, comes up and does what you're doing? So it is not a surprise to us. We were expecting that, like it happened with Zepto also, that Blinkit came in, Instamart
Right.
came in, Flipkart, Amazon, all. And even in our space, I see it actually as great validation, because it was tough for us to find people, say investors specifically, who would believe in the idea.
Right.
But now that, say, someone like a Zomato is executing it, it proves as great validation that yes, a market exists, a business will be built, and it's going to scale up multiple times from here on.
Understood.
So I see that as validation, and against, now that they are competitors, we're working. So in district for the salon, spa and clinic vertical, we have certain differentiations, but I'd say our biggest, our strategy is going to be what our investors tell us: just heads down and execute. That's all.
That's your biggest USP right now, that you're executing.
Yes.
Execute. That's it.
Just be so fast that
nobody can catch up.
Yeah. So how they say, it's a cheetah can run faster compared to an elephant. Even though it's an elephant, you cannot catch up.
So I think this is going to be a great strategy for most folks who are building out and they're trying to compete. Another piece that I want to understand from you, Anurav, right now we've got a lot of folks who get these salon services, wellness services at home directly. There are a lot of folks in the market right now, Urban Company being a major part of it. And you are in the offline space where you're trying to give that experience to folks physically.
Correct.
How big of a threat is that to your business, right?
So I would not say they're a threat. I think it is more like, not 100%, but more of a complementary business. I'll tell you how and why. Because we've observed customer patterns. Now, say a customer who's doing, say, at home services also, because we've spoken to people at these, apps that are providing home services.
Right.
We've spoken to them, through connects or multiple friends, etc. The most services consumed are, be it for males, it could be your basic haircut
or a beard trim.
Yeah, for females, it is going to be waxing, and then there are a few spas, etc.
Okay.
But when we are focusing on customers, the majority of the services consumed, of course, haircut remains by default, but because 65% of our customers are actually females,
right?
So females don't get their haircuts on Urban Company.
Right. They need a proper.
They
stylist.
want a proper stylist. They don't want to mess up there.
Right.
Even though once in 4 months, etc. So haircuts remain, and for the other services like your hair color, your hair treatment, your hair spas,
right?
You need that backwash. You need those premium products. Because when it comes to your hair and skin, you don't want to mess up.
Right.
I'm not saying somebody's using a low quality product, but the brands that we work with, they're using really great products that are renowned internationally as well, and the results have been fantastic.
And this trust.
Exactly. So, and when it's the stylist expertise, because these are people who are trained from academies itself,
right?
So they're very well trained, they're very well equipped, and then the product is into the picture. So whenever, if it's a basic service like haircut and beard, of course convenience is more of a factor. But when you're doing your skin treatments, when you're dealing with, say, acne or pigmentation, hair fall, dandruff,
right,
you will have to speak with a dermat.
Right.
You will have to go to a certified professional, and that you will find it on the app. You will find premium salons, you'll find spas, you'll find aesthetic dermatology clinics. So that whenever you want to go for a service, firstly for ambience, for quality, and for the trust factor, for expertise, all of these things, a proper experience, that also helps you with your pocket, because in the industry, the amount of discounts and offer we offer, nobody can. Right. Not even district at this point.
Okay.
So our offers and discounts, if you compare at any given point of time at any of our vendors, any salons, any spa, you will find LUZO has the best offer.
I'm a personal user, so I can vouch on this.
Exactly. So that has really helped us. So whenever customers want that kind of an experience, they will download and use the LUZO app. And our retention, I'm very happy to say that our retention is actually north of 60%. So seriously, which in a consumer business is really high.
It's really high.
Exactly, because the services are repetitive in nature, that really adds value. But I think the offering that we have, the best discounts, the best partners, we have all the top brands: Enrich, Lakme, True Fit and Health, Tony and Guy, Lux, B Blunt. You can name the brand, I hope. I want to name all of them, but there are so many good brands that I just can't. But
Right.
all of them are just doing a fantastic job with customer service. So
And you've retained them also for the longest time, and folks are
Exactly.
also coming onto it. So it's a two-sided benefit for everyone, for
Right.
vendors who are coming in and the consumers who are also using it. What is coming next at a business level for LUZO now?
So I think, as I mentioned, just head down and execute. And the next thing is speed to execution. So we're currently present in Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Delhi NCR, Hyderabad, Chennai. And now we want to ensure that we're not just going in deeper into these existing cities. We want to add more salons, more spas, more dermats, etc. But we also want to add more cities.
Is this tier 1 or tier 2?
So see, the services that we're offering, the beauty and wellness industry has evolved. Consumer spends have now started coming into the industry at a much larger rate than it used to.
True.
But of course, that order is always going to remain. Tier 1 will have maximum inflow, then tier 2, then tier 3, of course. So which is why we'll first target, say, places like Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadodara have tremendous spends. And we get these insights from our existing partners.
Right.
Kolkata, as you rightly named, Chandigarh, the whole Punjab region.
Dude, that's crazy market.
In North, people spend on their beauty and wellness. Like, it's evident.
I have one more question to ask, Anurav. Right now, you've been dealing with a lot of partners. You have crazy amount of data points. The question is very simple. What Zepto has done, what Amazon has done. Are you in the line where you want to start a salon or a spa on the name of LUZO, which can scale in the future in a tier 1 or tier 2 city? Is that on the cards?
So, a plain simple answer is no.
Okay.
And the reason is, I think we learn a lot from the industry itself.
Right.
And people who've tried to do that have faced a lot of backlash already. And, we want to create an ecosystem wherein, it's not just us ruling and we have all the maximum control where, we can, put in our word and get it done. Like, we want to control the market however we want. We want to create a cohesive environment,
right?
So that everybody working with us, be it our partners, be it our customers and us, we're all able to profit and grow together. Because if it is just one party growing, it's going to be a tough time for us to grow at all.
Right. So I think that is on pause right now.
Absolutely, we're in no position to do that.
Tell me one thing, Anurav. If you were 22 again, or if you were 21 again, after all the learnings that you've gotten in the last 4-5 years, what is that one suggestion that you'd give that 21-year-old to?
Don't overthink.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah, just go with the flow. Idea is socho, try to execute it. What is the worst that will happen? You will fail.
But go for it.
Yeah, because, and especially when you're young, when you said 21, 21 is quite young. Like, we started out at almost that age.
Right.
And had a few failed stints, at the dropshipping thing and 1-2 other things also before that. So I think the younger you start, the better it is. You are at a disadvantage that you don't have experience, but I think that is what also plays to your advantage, that you have fresh insights.
Right.
So you can do something absolutely new. And as a student, the pressure on you will probably, for most, I think it will always be lesser, because you don't have to feed a family. I'm sure, there are people who have to worry about certain things, but most will have that advantage that, you can take a risk today.
Right.
You're not going to have that chance, after you're in the job or after you're married. Like, people who do that, hats off to them. I don't know how they've done it.
You need balls of steel to do it too.
Absolutely. Honestly. So when you're young, take risks. Don't be afraid and be quick. It's okay to fail, but just do it.
I have heard a lot of founders say this, like Vitesh from Oyo. There are a couple of other folks who've said it, that they have enjoyed building their startups when they were away from home because the responsibility was higher, a lot of other pros and cons which came with it, but it is always better to build when you're away from family. Now you are building while you're staying with your family and your other co-founders also. Likewise with me. Is it different when you're with your family?
I think for us, I feel I'm blessed.
Right.
Because, like all of us, all co-founders, we come from a good family background.
Right.
So we never really had to worry about our stay or our meals.
Basic necessities.
Exactly. Everything was taken care of. And in fact, I'd say even more than that.
Right.
So I think it plays to an advantage. For people, I think, who have to deal with that responsibility that at a very young age you have to take care of your family, for them, only when they step away from it, they can actually focus. I think that's why I think it makes a difference for them.
I think for me, I have a very simple logic in my case. My mother's really supportive of whatever I'm doing.
Exactly, and support really matters.
Exactly. So if I have a bad day, she'd know it by my face that okay, this dude had a bad day. Let's just sit down and understand. And second, I don't have to worry about basic things also.
Right.
My roti, kapda, makan, everything is sorted. I just have to focus on a simple thing like Arjun that you said. Focus on your company, make it grow and see where it scales from there.
Exactly.
So you don't have anything else to think about also. When you're staying alone, you need to look at the fact that your maid is coming, cooking food, you are getting your bloody basic necessities sorted. It's a lot of
added. Living alone is not a joke. Like I think a lot of people think I go on to live alone.
मुझे independent बनना है.
मतलब it might look all rosy on the outside, but I have friends, who stay alone like because they've gone abroad.
Right.
And they're like, it is not as rosy as you think.
It is not, because you need to sweep the bloody floor, do every single chore that you have.
And I'm someone, who loves to eat. I love to eat fresh food.
Right.
I know friends जो abroad रहते हैं ना, वो एक दिन लगाते हैं, 3 दिन खाते हैं.
वो तड़पते खाने के लिए यार.
I don't want to do that. I'm God's blessing that I can eat fresh food every day.
हाँ, and you can spend that time with your family also. Go for
exactly.
walks, relax, chill. You have that sense of family time so that you can just have that rejuvenation period for yourself. Also, a very good topic. What I would want to ask you is that. A lot of folks say that when you're, जैसे बचपन में बोलते थे कि when you're studying, don't have a girlfriend, don't have a partner. When you're building and you're going crazy nuts with it, you can't give a lot of time to your respective partners also. How is having a partner a good thing when you're building, since you've scaled to whatever extent that you've scaled? How important of a role is that?
I think it plays a very important role, and it actually depends from person to person. And I think we as co-founders, we've been lucky with that. Wherein, of course, because it's a new environment, there could be some misunderstanding, some distances, some XYZ,
right.
Things can go south. But I think that is what really tests your patience. And a good partner, can play a very important role. And I think, Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy are kind of like the biggest examples that people quote. So yeah, I think it is difficult, but I think it gets better over time. People need to have that level of understanding with each other, the level of patience. And I think once you have that, once you're, confident, you can actually play it to your advantage. And I think in our case, it has happened. So yeah.
I think it mostly happens if your partner is really understanding, because a major gap which comes in is that your partner starts feeling that they're neglected.
Absolutely.
Because you're spending so much time with your company and everyone who's involved, they would think that you have an extra merit.
LUZO से शादी कर ले.
LUZO से शादी कर ले.
Co-founder से
शादी कर ले. तेरे इस team member से शादी कर ले. Because they are replacements. Basically.
Absolutely.
हाँ, तो in my team also there are folks जिसपे मुझे भी सुनने को मिलता है कि तू ग्रैड से शादी कर ले, तू जीरो टू जिद्दी बिल्ड करता रहे, या तू इस इंसान से शादी कर ले. बट आई थिंक इट इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल दैट इफ योर पार्टनर्स अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द फैक्ट कि अगर ये इंसान इतना टाइम स्पेंड कर रहा है, वो कोशिश भी कर रहा है टू कम बैक होम एंड हैव दैट time with you, go out on a lunch.
You need people who appreciate
you. And I think as much as we say that external validation does not play a role, it does. Because it makes you feel good about the fact that you're building. Now, if today we're trying to build Zer0toZidd1 from scratch, and honestly out of my living room, and folks are really supporting, friends or folks like you are actually coming on the podcast and just doing it with absolutely zero distribution, that is the support that you need when you're trying to build.
Absolutely.
And these are people towards whom you have a lot of gratitude in the long run, and you do to the other end of the earth to help them out also in whatever way possible.
In fact, I would take a moment to appreciate you also, to set out this setup that you have. Even though you're full-time with Grat, you're taking out this initiative to get people on the screen and sharing their stories. I think that also really adds value to us as founders. So thank you for that.
Absolutely, Anurav. On that note, I'd also want to ask you that how important is personal branding for you right now? Since you're building from scratch, you need to be visible in front of people. It's a consumer-facing arena.
Right. So I think, typically, even if you go through my Instagram, I posted a picture probably a year ago. So I'm not that person, who likes to come on social media or, be out there. But I think it's in the ecosystem now. You have to be in front, because as consumers, because now that consumers are evolving, it is not that कि मैंने इसको टीवी पे देख लिया तो ये अच्छा ही होगा. Because now it's Instagram and अभी Instagram पे हजारों ad आती है. It's not that कि मैंने ad देखा तो ये अच्छा ही होगा. People need to trust you, and especially in our country, it's not like the US where performance marketing works like ad देखा, add to cart किया, हो गया. People will not take a bet on something or take a risk on something in purchasing or booking or anything unless they can trust it fully. So they need someone to give them a feedback or some word of mouth or some reviews. And so the best way to do it is, I have built it, I am on camera, I am telling you that, it is a wonderful product. Of course, there will be times that you could have a bad experience, but we will help you out and we are there for you. Like literally day before yesterday, I had someone message me on LinkedIn in DMs. Then, dude, I'm facing a problem with my appointment. Can you please help me? Even though we have a customer care, but sometimes people just enjoy it. And of course, I, said, just give me some time. And I got it sorted out for it. So we try to do that as much as possible.
Dude, exactly. I think we are not in that space to have a brand ambassador for the brand because that's like a shit ton of money.
खुद ही बनना पड़ेगा.
हाँ, तुम्ही राजा, तुम्ही मंत्री वाला हिसाब है. So till the time people know that who's the person who's building it behind the screen and they trust that person, they're inevitably going to buy it.
Correct.
Because this is something that we're seeing across. Be it Aman Gupta, be it Piyush Bansal, everyone's got their personal brand out. Even if they're spending heavily on influencers, people are still knowing of the fact that, oh, this is the person behind the brand that I want to take it from. I saw a screenshot yesterday where a lady dropped a message to Aman Gupta on WhatsApp randomly. यार मेरे product अभी तक आए नहीं है, app से order करी हुआ नहीं है. And Aman's replied to her WhatsApp message saying that, oops, I'm sorry, just order it from the website, I'll get it sorted. And it speaks volumes, right? As a founder, if you're present for your consumer, now on the same side, I'm in a B2B business. If I'm not present for the brands that I'm dealing with on a Sunday, they want to catch hold of my neck and then twist it in ways that I could never imagine.
Right.
So that is exactly where the ecosystem all boils down to.
Right.
What is your Ziddi moment of life? Ki bhai, this is one Ziddi thing that I want to keep doing for the rest of my life.
I think I will want to build again. So I'm sure, there will be opportunities, to do more things. And I don't think I want to stop building. Of course, I would want to take a break sometime. But I would love to build again because I think it's such an interesting journey. You will have your ups and downs, but I think in life, your life cannot be boring.
It cannot be monotonous.
हाँ, मतलब क्या ही करोगे यार घर बैठ के?
कुछ नया तो चाहिए करने के लिए.
Exactly. So I think वो कीड़ा अंदर है. So I think I will build again.
That is your Ziddi moment that keeps you in your head. I need to keep building again and again.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much to be on Zer0toZidd1. Thank you so much, Anurav.
Pleasure.